First of all, I do want to thank everyone who came today for the church service. And I do want to thank Matthew for giving me opportunity to preach. And yesterday, me and Sister Lan, where we were going. And I was going to drop her home. And as we were going, I met this guy. Like he was like big and like buff. And I was like, I'm going to talk to this guy. As we stopped and I was talking, I was like, okay, me and my fiance to this Bible discussion. But as I said that, it didn't like come out, like fiance didn't come out. And still taking time to digest. But yesterday was amazing. Those of you who don't know, yesterday we had this surprise. And as we were going to this surprise, there's a lot of surprises between the journey. And I just feel like they were part of that surprise. So as we went, we remember that Sister Lan recently posted in the group chat that she was invited for a banquet. And she was invited for this pre-Valentine's banquet. So we were excited to go for that banquet. And as we dressed up nice, as we were going to Repulse Way to Stanley for this banquet. And as we went, we took the bus. And as we were going up to the bus, we saw our brother Martin sitting over there. And I was like, what? Are you in the same place? And it was quite shocking, but we talked through. And then after 3 stops, he went down. I said, bye, I'm leaving for my family. And he later went down in the bus and he hid at the back. And so as we went, we got off early from the stop. And as me and Lan, we were moving towards the beach. As we were going, I saw another couple. I'm not going to shame Owen by mentioning him. As we were going, I was like off guard and I saw them coming and I was like, oh no. And then I started to act that I'm actually throwing up. Like I was acting and it was a terrible acting. And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm going to die. And I was like trying, but nothing came out. And then I think that time she can start to tell like, what is this guy doing? And then we waited and then we went down. And as we went down over there, we saw every one of you. And that's where I asked Lan to marry me. But I do want to thank every one of you who came yesterday. It was truly special. I don't think it could have been much better. I do want to thank what made it really special. We were thinking about it. Well, I was thinking about it. What made it very special was each and every one of you who came. And everyone who joined online as well. I think I would say it was one of the best moments I had. So thank you everyone who came. Thank you, Jackie, for trying. I apologize for not communicating even better. But I just want to thank every one of you who actually came. Sisters for coming early, for decorating, making it special with less budget. And I do want to thank Matthew for helping with organizing, for planning everything. I do want to thank Finn as well for giving us all his heart. And so as I went, I actually was practicing. Those of you know who lives with me, I was practicing how to propose with brothers. And I do want to thank brothers for helping me, being like supporting me. But those of you don't know, as we were practicing, I do recently have a leg injury. So it's a ACL, it's a ligament tear. And it takes long, at least 1 year to heal. So as I was practicing, I thought, okay, how about I start to do more leg workout because the proposal is coming forward so I can strongly go down and have no injury. So, but it turned out to be in the other way. The day I walked out, next day it was sore and it was very painful to even walk down. And as I went and I proposed and I could still feel pain on my leg. But I was like, okay, don't mess up now, don't fall in, all these kinds of stay as it is. And but I thought about the brokenness. I thought about when I was a kid, I broke up many of my bones. And one of the reasons I broke many of my bones because my mom, she was a nurse and she used to work in a hospital. And for us, it was free to get the medical treatment. So, because my mom was a nurse and it was free for us to get the medical treatment, I was beaten up to the point where I can break my bones. So if you know, that's the love of Indian mothers. So I would probably every month will go to the hospital to fix my fracture or fix my bone or something. There was a point where I broke my hand and one doctor pulled the hand from this side, another from this side, and one doctor pressed this to fix the bone in the proper place. So it was very painful. And as I grew up, I made a decision that I'm never gonna go to hospital again, no matter how free that is. So one of the most scary things for me was injections. I hated injections. And I hate to admit that I was afraid of injections. Even before the injection will touch my skin, I would start screaming. So that I'll get mercy and I don't get any injection. So growing up, I had a lot of bone broken, but I stopped going to the hospital because I just was very afraid to get more pain from that doctor. I remember one time I was playing basketball and I was very confident. I was playing and there's a big guy. As I was playing, I bumped into him while playing and my whole thumb went back. And in that heat of a moment, I didn't realize because I was like, oh, it's okay. This is just a normal thing. And after that match, I was going home and I started to pain on my thumb. And I was like, maybe it's just normal. And it got big. So in that moment, I knew it's a fracture. But I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. It was actually a finger. This one, you can still see it. So I was like, it's okay. It's just the fracture. It will be fine. It will go back to normal in its place. But I was less educated, and it never went back. But the thing is, the finger joined, and it's still functional. And I can do pretty much everything with this finger. But the thing is, when the pain is applied, or there's too much pain, it's painful. Yeah. When the pressure is applied, I can feel the pain. But before that, I don't know, because it's just functioned very well, it looks very good, and everything is nice. But only when the pain is pressure is applied, I started to have the pain, and I can realize it's painful. Okay. And that's how exactly many of us live our lives. We get broken by the world or by the words of someone we love. We get broken by betrayal of our friendship, by rejections in our relationship, loss of someone we deeply love, or unmet promises by God. And we avoid healing. And we tend to numb out. We ignore it. We often find people saying that time will heal everything. And as the time passes, we function, we started to move, and we enter to the next season of our life, into a new relationship or new friendship, but not knowing that we are still carrying the hurts from the past. And when the pressure comes of life, when the life squeezes us, the pain returns. The truth is, time doesn't heal. Time may numb the pain. Time may show the wounds. Time may cover the wounds but not heal it. Time may even turn the wounds into scars but not heal it. God does. The Bible says in Psalms 47, it says that God heals the broken heart. So the title of our lesson today is Our God is a Healer. Our God is a healer. The Bible says in Psalms 147, it says, it speaks about that He heals the brokenhearted and binds up our wounds when life shatters us. He restores our soul when we feel crushed. and lost hope. In Psalms 23, He lifts the heavy, He lifts the weight and gives strength when we feel too tired to go on. In Isaiah 40. In Psalms 30, it says, He comforts those who mourn and turn our deepest sorrow into joy. He forgives our sin and brings wholeness to our body when we feel broken inside. In Psalms 103. He walks with the burden and carry our pain when we cannot carry it ourselves. In Matthew 11. He sets the captive free and gives hope to oppressed and forgotten. In Luke 4. He calms the anxious, whispers the peace into hearts that are afraid. In John 14. In Psalms 34, He draws near to the brokenhearted and never abandons the hurting. And Isaiah 53, it says, and by His wounds we are healed completely. Our God is a healer. In Exodus 15, it says in verse 26, He said, if you listen carefully to the Lord your God and do what is right in His eyes, if you pay attention to His commands and keep all His decrees, I will not bring on you any disease I brought on Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals. See, this is the foundation movement of the Bible where God reveals Himself as a healer. The Bible teaches that God has many names. And He revealed Himself, who He is, by different names. He says He is Jehovah Jireh, the God who provides, in Genesis 22. He is Jehovah Shalom, which is the Lord of peace, in Judges 6. And Jehovah Roy, the Lord is my shepherd, in Psalms 23. And then the first time the Bible God called Himself Jehovah Rapha, which means the Lord who heals. And this is powerful because God not just heals us physically, but this is His character. So point number one is the joy in the pain. The joy in the pain. So often we get hurt, and the first reaction we have is to not run away from the pain. Rather than facing the pain, we just want to do everything possible to run from it. Same way, whenever struggles happen in our life, we just want to come out of it. We just want to come out from that pain. And all we think about is the ways we can escape this. Like Israelites in the wilderness, like my broken finger, never got fully healed. Life breaks us. But we choose to run away. But God shows up in the wilderness, in the brokenness, in the pain, and in the fear to heal us. We think running is equal to healing. Or running away from the pain equal to the joints will be healed. But the more you run, the more you get broken.
That's true. That's so true.
And over time, we got healed from our past just because we stayed in it. That's what we think. Until God revealed us by putting into different situations. And then slowly the insecurities, the doubts, the fear started to kick in. And that's when you realize you're actually not healed from the past. And what's powerful in this passage is the first time God called Himself a healer is not in a palace, is not in a temple, and not even in a comfortable place. It's in the wilderness. It's a place of brokenness, a place of pain and fear. God's healing is often found in a wilderness, a place where nothing is perfect in a life. When everything feels like, I don't want to stay in this position. And you just want to leave that place. And too often when things get hard, the first thing we want to do is we're going to run away from that place. The question is, are you running away from God today?
Come on, teach on.
Are you running away from your wilderness? Or are you facing your wilderness?
Yeah.
Who are you running to? See, when things get hard, we always want to run to something. But the question is, if you're not running to God, who are you running to? Because God is the only one who can heal you. And whoever we choose to run to, that becomes our security. So do you turn to God or do you turn to your own plans? Who do we run when our dreams, our plans, our hope falls apart? Because we know that God is the only one who can truly heal us. I think about example in the Bible. I think about Hannah. So Hannah is a very great story about how she got healed by God and how she found hope in God. And for the sake of time, I will encourage you guys to read chapter 1 and 2. And in 1 Samuel chapter 1, so this is a time where Hannah was not having a child. And she reached to a point where she was quite frustrated. And it says in verse 6, it says, because the Lord has closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. This went on year after year. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her till she wept and would not eat. Imagine being in Hannah's shoes. Every year she went to the temple to pray, and she was deeply broken. So she wanted to have a child. She longed to have a child. And every year people went to celebrate in the temple. She will go to cry out and weep. And even her rival with her is putting more pressure on her. Or creating an environment where she feels so sorrow or broken, deeply broken. And most of the people in this position probably will give up. They're probably like, okay, I don't want to go to the temple to pray. Or I want to pretend that there's nothing is happening. Or everything is fine. But Hannah did something different. In verse 10, it says, in her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, wept bitterly. And she made a vow, saying, Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant with misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head. She went to God. Instead of running away from her pain, she went to God in prayer. She walked to the place of worship with a broken heart. And she wept bitterly. She was not hiding her feelings. She was raw and vulnerable. God, this is what I feel right now. This is what's going on in my heart. Rather than running away from her pain, she was raw and vulnerable about her feelings and where she was at. And then she surrendered. She made a promise to God that if God gave him a son, she would dedicate that son back to God for God's service. She didn't demand an immediate solution. She trusted God's timing. Most of the time, if we can be honest, whenever the pain comes, whenever we're in a struggling situation, the first thing we want to do is we think about how we can come out from this season of life. And we think about all the things which can bring us joy or happiness. If I get this kind of job, if I can have this kind of relationship, I will be happy. And we don't like staying in that season. But like Hannah, true healing happens when we bring or when we accept our brokenness or we accept where we're at. And she was broken by where she's at. But she wept in prayer. And she made a promise to God. And she was totally surrendered. But the proof of, we know that later on she conceived the child and she had Samuel. But that was not the true blessing or the proof of healing. Have a look at verse 27. Her response. It says, I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked for. So now I give him to the Lord for his whole life, will be given over to the Lord, and he worshipped the Lord there. And it says in chapter 2, verse 1, it says, Then Hannah prayed and said, My heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high. My mouth boasts over my enemies, for I delight in your deliverance. After she received the child, her joy was in the God. Was not in the child. Was not even in the promise. How do we know she was healed from her past? Even in the midst of pain, she finds joy. She allowed God to heal her. Her joy was rooted in God, not in circumstances. If her joy is dependent on the outcome, we can still carry insecurity or unmet longings. We're not fully healed. See, when my finger broke, when my thumb broke, it's quite functional. After I gave some time, it was functional. But each time I put pressure on it or I try to do something heavy with it, the pain will return back. So it's partially healed. But the pain was still there because it's still broken. Same like the broken hand, that's how we could be in life. Many times we can go in a hard season, and just because we came out of it, we started to think we got healed from it. Until God put us in different situations, and all the pain can come out in different insecurities or fear or doubt. The question is your joy and security is in God, or in what it can fix your hope? Is your joy is in God, or in all the things what God can fix and bring to you? The question is, how long will you wait to let God heal you? I know it can hurt sometimes. It can be painful, and we want to come out from that. But would you stay in that season to let God decide when to come out? Or do you want to take your own things in your own hands? Ask yourself, am I truly joyful in God today? Or you still think about when my situation, when this thing will change, I will be happy. If that's our response, because we're still holding on to something in the past. Think about Paul. Paul, most of his letters are written in terrible situations, where he was in imprisonment, shipwreck, and all these different things. He was chained. He was in chain. He was wrongly accused, physically hardship, hunger, danger, and completely uncertain about the future. And yet he says in Philippians 4, it says, rejoice in the Lord always. And I say it again, rejoice. Paul wrote one of the most joyful books in the Bible in the darkest places in his life. And that's the proof. A healed heart is rooted in God, not in comfort, and not in circumstances. We don't have to wait for a situation to be perfect or to experience God's healing. God works when our situations are imperfect. God wants to show up when we are in the wilderness. You can be joyful, you can be secure, you can have full hope in Him, even in the hard times. I think about my own story. I dated actually 3 times. And each time I broke up, I just wanted to get out from that season, and I just wanted to get married. And I remember until God exposed, when I was in a second relationship, I almost fall away because I was not really healed by God. And I was finding healing or finding comfort in different things rather than finding in God. And no wonder why, no matter what you have, you're still not joyful. Most often we can think of if I get this kind of thing, if I get this kind of dream, I'll be happy. But the true happiness, the true joy comes from being close to God. The world is broken today. You think about, you go outside, you see so many people broke. Not financially, but financially too. But physically and emotionally and spiritually they're broke. You see the news, there's so much garbage happening around. Kids are being kidnapped and all these kind of stuff. The world is more darker today than it was before. And it's just still getting more darker. And if you look at this Hong Kong, it looks so beautiful. And it's very flashy, very beautiful. And whoever comes there, they're like, wow, the life over here is so beautiful. But if you strip the roof spiritually, if you take all the roof of the houses, and you see all the abuse happening in the houses, you see the pain happening in the houses, you see the kind of trauma, the relationship people have in the houses. And that's the kind of pain the world is in today. The world needs people who are healed. The world needs people who are individuals who allow themselves to go through pain and healed by God so that they can heal other people. But if in life there's only situation, when we get through different tough situations, we choose to get better or get better. If we allow God to heal us, we will turn better. But if we just run away from it and not endure, not suffer through it, we'll not get better. We'll become better. I want to ask you a question. Ask yourself this question. Are you running away from situation or problem from life? Or are you facing it and allowing God to heal you? Ask yourself, in which area I still feel insecure? In which area I still doubt? In which area I still look back and think about what if that happened? And feel fearful. And allow God to heal you in that area. In closing, the title of our lesson is, Our God is a Healer. And God often heals and reveals Himself in the wilderness. Not after the life is perfect, but when the life is falling apart, when things are not going your own way. That's where God wants to show up. Because He is someone who wants to heal in imperfect places. He wants you to weep. He wants you to surrender to Him and let God heal your heart. You know, when I was in a relationship, I often prayed, and it was a very hard prayer to pray. I said, God, if this relationship is not from you, and if it's not going to glorify you, I pray we just break up. And even now, I still pray the same thing. But we got engaged. But I didn't have the same heart before I was dating. Because I just wanted to control things and wanted to have my own things. And I just wanted to make things in my own way. Because I was not really surrendered. And I had so many insecurities of what if we break up? What if that happened? What if this happened? I was not totally surrendered like Hannah. Because I was still not healed from my past. So I want to challenge you guys today. I want to encourage you guys today. Allow God to heal you from your past. Because when you get healed, you're going to go heal other people. But if you're still broken, if you're still insecure about different things, you're going to go spread those things to other people. So our joy should be in God. Our security should be in God. Not in circumstances. Amen.